It is one of the great fixtures in IPL history. 9 final appearances, 5 IPL titles, and an absolute crackerjack of a showdown when Chennai Super Kings and Kolkata Knight Riders meet head-to-head for the first time this season at the M.A. Chidambaram Stadium. That has its share of due even today, as MS Dhoni's first words today happen to be after he says that we're going to have a ball first, are due, and he's going to be chasing. We're going to build up to that cracker on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday T20. What's set for this one? Because I think this is going to be a really good game. Sean Tate is all set. Deep Das Gupta is as well. You look at some fixtures and you think, we hope we get a good game.
Yeah.
You look at some fixtures and you think, we're going to get a good game. This seems like one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know you're going to get a good game, and very similar in nature as far as these two teams are concerned, heavily dependent on spin bowling. And I mean, end of the day, I think this whole game will revolve around spin.
Yeah.
How well you bowl as far as your spinners are concerned, and how well your batsmen bat against spin.
Such a contrasting philosophy and contrasting set of cultures with these two teams at present, Teddy. KKR go hard. No matter what's happening, who's at the crease, what's the scoreboard like, they go hard. Chennai just play a game of chess and hope that their mistakes are made by the opposition, and they're clinical. What excites you about this contest?
Well, there's perfect opposites. That's exactly what you're saying there. That's what excites me about this game. And both game plans over the years have been very successful, which is also what's exciting about this game. Two heavyweights of the competition. I suppose you throw Mumbai in there as well.
Yes.
But this is what the IPL is all about, especially this time of the tournament. You need a big game like this. It's a bit of a, I wouldn't say grind period, but I suppose you can call it something like that. You know, through the middle there, it stretches the tournament out, and you need games like this at this time. And I like the fact that it's in Chennai.
Yeah. In some ways, the team that sort of outdoes the other gives us an indication of what philosophy or culture still trumps the other. Because we all try to think and look at CSK. At least I know I did last season. Many of us were skeptical and said, nah, they're not going to stand a chance with the way they play against a team like KKR. And suddenly they'll beat KKR, and it changes the way you think, doesn't it?
Absolutely does. And I'm sure it's not just about us watching from the outside.
Yes.
Even the fans or the team itself, they start believing, you beat a top team like KKR or CSK for that matter. You start believing in yourself and how far you can go in this tournament. But coming back to the toss, I think it's a very important toss, not just because of due, but also the Russell factor there.
Yeah.
I mean, Andre Russell chasing, you never know. I mean, last 3 overs, 50, and you've got Russell out there, the crease, it's
all
still
sorts of due.
done.
Yeah,
it's chaseable. So suddenly now, with Russell having to bat first or KKR having to bat first, I won't say you negate, but at least you know what you're going to chase down.
You've got enough evidence of Russell being capable batting first too. He smashed it against Kings 11, smashed it against Delhi Capitals when they were in all sorts of trouble. So he'll probably strike only at 220 and not 340 or whatever else he does. It's ridiculous, this maniac that Andre Russell is. But let's confirm team news for you first. And both teams have gone unchanged. Chennai Super Kings stick to the same team that beat Kings 11 Punjab and choked that chase to some degree. So Scott Kuggeleijn keeps his place. It's his second IPL appearance. Harbhajan Singh has picked up a couple of Man of the Match awards. He stays in that team too. And Faf du Plessis continues to add some strength to that batting order, which we think will now see Ambati Rayudu play somewhere in the middle. Lots of spin bowling for Kolkata as well. They've got the same team that beat the Rajasthan Royals at the Savai Man Singh Stadium on Sunday. So Harry Gurney, who picked up a Man of the Match award on debut in the IPL, stays at the expense of Lockie Ferguson. And on a day where due seems to be such a big deal, there are 3 quality spinners in both teams. How appetizing a prospect and a contest is that? There are no surprises, the fact that there are no changes. Sometimes you think if there's so much due, maybe we should leave out an extra spinner. But just looking at these spinners, I think that
you can't. And if you look at both these sides, they both depend a lot on spinners. I mean, all the way through, as far as KKR is concerned, they've always had these 3 spinners in their ranks. And Dhoni, I mean, he controls the game through his spinners while he was captain of India as well, and now with Chennai. I mean, he kind of controls. He's very, very comfortable when he's got spinners in his side.
Sure.
And I think it'll be a great contest.
I'm very curious to know, Teddy, what bowlers make of the significant due factor. Especially you've got Scott Kuggeleijn in this game, you've got Harry Gurney in this game. Overseas bowlers that may or may not have had this sort of experience bowling at a ground like Chennai and due. How much do you prepare?
What
do you do?
A few games ago, Santner
just got the one game and struggled, just couldn't land it.
I look at that. It's a bit of a advantage there, because you look at Harry Gurney, he won't be as effective if it's going to skid on. And the due factor. And you can also argue the fact that guys like Narayan as well might not be as effective and might skid on a bit more. So It's a pretty important toss, actually.
Yeah, but these guys have almost learned how to play with this. If you played 5, 6 years or 8 years of IPL cricket like Sunil Narayan has,
Yep.
you've learned.
Yeah, I mean,
Can you learn though?
I mean, you can at times. I like the way that Dhoni talks about the game. I think looking
It's
into
very simple.
That's mate, I would love to have played under him because
Yeah.
you just you worry too much about a lot of factors all the time in cricket, and I think sometimes he's right. You worry about what you're doing. You play well to your strengths, and more often than not, if that works out, you'll win games.
Yeah.
Due factor, yes, it is an advantage with the toss. And then worrying about individuals from the opposite teams, but things change in cricket. There's a lot of variables. So
How do you prepare when there's this sort of duty? You bowl with a wet ball, you dip it in buckets?
Well,
What do you
I've
do?
done that. Yeah, I've been in teams where we've done that before as well. But sometimes it's just about getting the job done when you're out there. It's simple as that. Adjusting to conditions, and I'm sure nowadays, obviously I've been out of the game for a few years, but nowadays I'm sure they're practicing at training more with
the
dipping.
wet ball.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
All right. We're going to focus on our next match day match point because chasing is an advantage, yes, in IPL cricket, certainly in this season too. But chasing and Kolkata have a different story altogether. Their penchant for chasing in the IPL goes back to, it's a story of 4-5 years because they've never, that's it, May 7th, 2015 is the last time that Kolkata won the toss and elected to bat first in an IPL match. Since then, they have never batted first after winning the toss. Just think about all
Has
the
that
things that were
coincided
different.
with Andre Russell being picked up by KKR?
In 2015, could
It
very
would
well
be
be
around
around
that
that
time.
time. Yeah, could be around that time. But I would still think maybe that change for philosophy. Gambhir was still around in KKR, so maybe there was probably a tactical call. That's a very interesting observation. When did Andre Russell join in versus when KKR decided that if they win the toss, all they're going to do
When did they win the
is chase?
championships?
They won 2012 and 2014. So this is 2015 that they decided never want to bat again. There's also this thing of Sunil Narayan opening at the top, which could have played into those calculations. But anyway, let's speak a little more about their chasing and how much this makes a difference. Just have a look at the toss analysis. They win 64% when they win the toss in field. And when they win the toss, when they lose the toss and they have to bat first, that win percentage goes down significantly. MS said at the toss he's not big on analytics and data and all, but to some degree, would he have been tempted by this?
Listen, he's one guy who has it in him. There's some people who are naturally into numbers and assessment wise. I think he's naturally a very analytical kind of a person.
Sure.
It comes to him naturally that way. So he doesn't really need a lot of help. And I think he also goes with what's happening at that point in time that day. I think his assessment or his game awareness is second to none. So even you might have these numbers, which is in the past, but most of the numbers when you look at IPL, you look at a year ago. A lot can happen between last season and this season in terms of form and everything else. So even though it does help. It does help those numbers and analytics, but I guess you also got to assess them and interpret those numbers as well.
I mean, there's also the other thing of what is CSK's strengths, and they chose to bat first against Punjab, albeit in a 4 o'clock game, and they won the game against Rajasthan batting first. It could have been tempting for MS to say this batting, you know what it's about, and without Dwayne Bravo, maybe should bat first. Or do you think he's done the right thing here? Maybe play to Kolkata's disadvantage?
I think tonight he's definitely made the right decision there.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. But I mean, you look at their batting; it's a pretty reliable batting lineup, Chennai. Really.
How much of a difference does Fab du Plessis make while we're talking about that?
Well, big time. He's reliable.
Yeah.
He's a reliable player. He's a proven world-class player, and the way he plays his cricket actually suits Chennai perfectly.
Yeah.
Watto obviously is very reliable, but he's a bit more of a power game.
Yeah.
Then you go through that middle order there. They're all pretty. I mean, they're all very proven and
Yeah, you've got to change that up a little because without Dwayne Bravo, they'll need someone like Raidu to perhaps take middle order responsibility now. We're just going to have a look at some more data when it comes to Kolkata batting first, because this is a very interesting talking point when it comes to KKR. The win percentage, like we've said, 38% while batting first and 67%. This is since May 9, 2015. So there's a huge difference in their chances when they're batting first or chasing. Deep?
Yeah, couple of things. Obviously, you mentioned on the batting side, even bowling side. If they're defending with 3 spinners more often than not, and in the subcontinent, we know how important dew play a part in games. It is also difficult, and they've never had KKR. I don't remember them having very good death over bowlers to defend.
Sure.
So they're predominantly their bowling for the last quite a few years has been about around the spin department. And so maybe that's one of the reasons also that they don't defend totals that well.
There was a game last year where they couldn't defend a really big total. Dew played its part, and there were plenty for Chennai to get at the back of Sam Billings and a last over 6 by Jadeja as well as they managed. You had likes of Tom Curran and Vinay Kumar go for runs that time. Yes, Terry.
That's actually one of the good selections about Harry Gurney.
Yes.
He's actually a death bowler.
So he brings in, yeah, it's a good point. Kolkata have brought in somebody specifically for that role in Harry Gurney. Just one more thing on this, their scores, batting first, because that would be an interesting chat too, to see how often they get what. And let's have a look. 200 plus, they win 75%. 175 to 200, and they've actually lost 6 out of 6. So this is very interesting when it comes to the ability of the Kolkata bowling attack to to defend. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's.
But if you look at the other side, I mean, 160 to 175.
5-4-1. That's not too bad.
That's not.
But maybe that's on a pitch which would help you. a little.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So 160, 175, they kind of overachieved with the bat or something like
So
that.
if they're getting to 165, just stay there. Don't.
But that's not
nick
a
it
bad
for one.
total actually.
Was
160,
that a time? That was a time when the Eden Gardens wicket
Yeah,
was.
that's right.
Turning.
Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Right.
right.
Don't call it terrible. That was a Turner.
No, Turner. I said it was a Turner. Yeah. It was never terrible. There was the Eden Garden pitch is divided into when the great Saurav Ganguly batted and when the great Saurav Ganguly was administrator.
Let's
Right,
move
but I love it. I love the pitch and I love Saurav Ganguly. So let's go on to our next point. Let's go to MS Dhoni v Sunil Narine. This is a very interesting battle too because of how Dhoni remains extremely cautious, yes, in general these days, but more so against Sunil Narine. All the time these two have played in 11 innings, all MS has done is milk him for 29 runs at a strike rate of 50, but he's never been dismissed by Narine. So this is not just Dhoni the recent, this is Dhoni in all his time who's decided, I'm not going to take Sunil Narine on.
Absolutely. I think, again, I mean, his assessment, as I mentioned, I mean, you take away those 2 overs that he might have to face Sunil Narine, you just take 2 overs away and then focus on the other bowlers. But this year, Sunil Narine, I mean, leaving aside the last game where he looked to get back in some kind of a rhythm, he's gone for a few this season.
You know, we're going to bring our Facebook viewers in now and we're going to ask you a very interesting poll because Sunil Narine remains one such bowler that MS Dhoni has never hit for a boundary in the IPL in any time, 4 or 6. So will Dhoni hit a boundary today?
Yeah, they should get it. If they were watching the quiz, they
Yes,
should
if
get
you were
that.
watching the quiz, which Deep Das Gupta, he just wanted to bring it up so I can say that he hammered Sean Tate in. But yes, let me know. Let me know if you think Dhoni can get Narine. Which tells us something, Terry, that now suddenly there's this clear tactical approach that teams will not go after Rashid Khan, not go after Sunil Narine. For MS, he had this in his mind even in his best days.
Well,
He's not going to hit him.
yeah, exactly. I mean, but that was Narine was at his best a few years ago. That was when he was awesome. So I mean, obviously, and you speak about cricket IQ, and it just comes natural to him. That's something that he wouldn't even have to look at the numbers or anything. He just knows that, right, let's be smart about this and take down the paces at the other end.
And let's also try and remember the other bowlers that have been part of KKR. They have had issues at the death earlier on. So MS picks and chooses his bowlers. We saw that in the game against Rajasthan more than anything. Let's just continue throwing up a little more data for you when it comes to MS versus Narine. And the best dot ball percentage against Dhoni in the IPL is also held by Sunil Narine. I'm staggered to see Akshar Patel there, but I'm quite certain MS has also whacked him around a bit. There's a game that he smashed him for 4 or 5 sixes in the end to steal a tie in Pune's first season.
And
But,
there are quite a few left-arm spinners.
There are a few left-arm
I'm
spinners
not
there.
surprised,
There's Akshar, there's Pragyan Ojha. All right, Sunil Narayan's high dot ball percentage. It coincides with the fact that MS doesn't go after him.
Yeah.
But I don't think MS would care about these things.
No, he won't. He won't. And at end of the day, he's all about winning. He's about end of the day where he stands in terms of winning games or not.
Does he strike you unique in that aspect? Sometimes there would be even great batsmen. If you ever tell them this is a bowler, you can't take after, or this bowler who has your number. Sometimes you've seen batsmen make a point to go after them. But he's not one of those.
He's too mature for that.
He's so different because there are great players that tend to say, I mean, I remember someone told Glenn Maxwell leg spin's a problem and he took great offence to it and went to whack him.
It's probably more ego players, I suppose. Dhoni's a bit more like, well...
I know with Tendulkar it used to be thinking when we went after Brad Hogg more often, when he started, there were questions by the Aussie media that Brad Hogg has his number and we know what happened after that.
Brian Lara used to do that.
Yeah. Brian Lara.
He was challenged a little bit. So, but Dhoni's more like, well, we'll take the win.
And also I think Dhoni, he knows that there are limitations.
Yes.
I mean, his limitations are more than Lara and Tendulkar and all.
Yeah.
So he understands his limitations and he's maximized his his abilities.
Right, let's have a quick look at Dhoni versus spin in general in IPL since 2017. And that's what we've got against off spin, strike rates under 100, against left arm spin again under 100, leg spin 109, and left arm wrist spin. Well, good luck, Kuldeep Yadav. He's the only one there since 2017. But that should be interesting. Now he's also been dismissed a couple of times. Again, this is a very different MS Dhoni, and he's proven all critics wrong when it comes to his value for Chennai Super Kings and with the bat too. In fact, just quickly let's throw on his flashcard for MS Dhoni, because you'll get an idea of strike rates for Dhoni overall against pace, against spin, different phases, and 156 versus 106. So that's the big difference. That's what you've got for MS Dhoni. He will work his way around and ensure that he has some seam to whack in this game. 178 at the death. Keep that in mind when you're setting a total for CSK. Andre Russell does not have the luxury of pressure today in a chase to whack it at 300 and steal Kolkata another heist. He has the responsibility to post some runs in the beginning. In case you've not gotten up to speed with exactly what's going on with Andre Russell, we've helped you out.
Andre Russell, or should we say, Andre Muscle. The Jamaican whose big hitting has led Brian Lara to suggest a pretty simple squad for the West Indies at the World Cup. First, his numbers. His first 4 innings saw him make 207 runs at a strike rate of over 268. If you see it as a single knock, that's the fastest double hundred in history. With a boundary or a 6 coming every 2.26 balls, we're pretty sure that in his head, Russell was playing stick cricket. Second, the match situation. 3 of the 4 knocks came under immense pressure. Against Hyderabad, his side needed 53 of the last 3 overs. Russell finished on 49 of 19 to take his side over the line. Against Delhi, Kolkata was struggling at 61 for 5. Russell walked in and smashed a 28-ball 62. Against Bangalore, they were again 53 short with 3 overs left. Russell scored 48 of 13, and this time, Kolkata won with 5 balls to spare. Third, his strike zone. Dre has scored 96 runs of 28 balls in the V. When the bowlers bowled full, he hit 75 of 18. When they went short, he plundered 53 of 27. So, sorry guys, only a perfect Yorker will do. Or don't take any top order wickets to avoid Russell walking in. Andre Russell is pushing T20's boundaries this summer. Literally, you could pull them 20 meters back and he'd still clear them for fun.
Okay, now get ready, feast your eyes on some numbers. Very few times in cricket you'll get to see the strike rate actually outmatch the runs. Now it's early days, so even Hardik Pandya tends to feature in that, but when you've got 200 runs, when you got 200 runs, the average of 104 with a lot of not outs, but 216, and the balls per boundary, he's hitting 2-3 boundaries easy, Sean Tate, against you. He's hitting world-class bowlers like we've established. The conversation in every dugout that's about to face KKR has to be, how do we stop Andre Russell?
Yeah, it's obviously been the big chat around the last few days. Look, to me, it's about execution. It's about holding your nerve under pressure when you bowl into a guy like this. You know, if you get it wrong, and same as Lynn and these guys, your chance of getting hit out of the park. So I just think that the back to basics, perfect Yorker, on the stumps. If you get the length right, he does way back in his crease a lot. But
how much do you practice the Yorker? How much time did you give it in the
I gave it quite a bit. I practiced Yorkers quite a bit. Probably should have practiced more actually. But I just think 2020 cricket is something that fast bowlers should be spending, at least almost half or a quarter of their training session on bowling Yorkers.
And are you sort of saying that,
in my opinion,
spend what, 20 minutes, half an hour on the net?
Whatever it is, just execution might be. I mean,
right arm over and with a proper batsman, or just
either way, whatever you feel,
Malinga?
both. Whatever you feel comfortable with. I mean, Malinga had a great action for it, but he just bowled 10 balls at the end of the training.
Yeah, I used to put this old story of Malinga putting the shoes.
I used to do that a little bit as well, but then, and see how many times he could hit it. So, and he hit it quite often. So it's, I just think it's something that, it's not lost from the game. I mean, there's some really good Yorker bowlers around, but it's something I just don't think we still see enough. Enough of. But and it's not. It's
to be fair, you can't bowl 6 out of 6, can you?
You can't bowl. You can't bowl 6 out of 6, but you can bowl 6 out of 6 slower ball on length that can go for 6. So, what are the other options? What's a better option to say? Wide Yorker's a good option, but then it could be a wide if it goes over the line. Yeah. If it's a half volley, it goes for 6 over the offside.
He tends to even move so quickly.
You can't get him out. Apart from court, you can't get a wicket. To me, I think the a good Yorker on the stumps is proven and it proves to work.
So what's your go-to plan? Okay, Yorker, and if not Yorker, then what?
Well, it depends what sort of
someone
bowl you
like-
are.
I like Deep's question because let's say you've tried 2 balls, you're not getting the length, and you've fallen just short.
Some
and
nights, some nights you have those nights
Do
where
you
you think, I
continue
just
to try for the Yorker?
cannot. I mean, I cannot hit the Yorker tonight. It's one of those nights, whatever. It depends on the wicket. That heavy length as well. I mean, it depends what sort of bowl you are. Myself, I'd be thinking bouncer Yorker. The bouncer, the bouncers are every chance of going for 6, but it also might go up in the air. So
And a surface like this, let's say Chennai, which is on the slower side, which helps the turn and all, taking pace off, you reckon?
taking the pace off, obviously, if you've got a good slow ball, so someone that's got an okay slow ball, I wouldn't be trying it because he's too good a player for that. So if you've got a really good slow ball, 100% use it and be unpredictable. He's going to sit back in his crease and bat in the same way. If you're unpredictable to him, if you're not comfortable hitting Yorkers, unpredictability is probably your best option. So it is a tough one, and then sometimes you've just got to challenge yourself and say, look, if it comes off, it comes off, and at least don't go to the dressing room after the game saying, maybe I should have bowled Yorkers.
I like how we are only focusing on fast bowlers as an option.
Yeah, I
because
was going to say
spinners,
that.
Yeah.
And let's throw
I didn't
that
bowl
in.
too much spin in my time.
Well, let's throw in the option. Firstly, the Yorkers. This whole thing about Andre Russell versus Yorkers and bouncers over the wicket and around the wicket. That's what he strikes at, 114 over the wicket and 52 around the wicket. So that's something for bowlers. I know Mumbai successfully have gone right arm round to him, tried different things, or tried the left arm over to him, cramp him up and bowl something short. What about the potential use of spin?
Imran
And
Tahir.
you do have the option against leg spinners, a vulnerability. A strike rate of only 128, you take that any day of the week these days, and 4 dismissals. And that's what he's got, Andre Russell, since 2015 in the IPL.
And that hasn't been tried so far. If you remember, spin. Last over of the Hyderabad game, it was actually Shubman Gill who finished the game with 2 sixes. He took a single of the first delivery, if I'm not wrong, and Shubman Gill came on strike. So he hasn't played a lot of spin apart from the
And
Delhi
that
game
was-
where he
that was
played really
Shakib
well.
Al
If
Hasan,
there's a night
Chuck
for
it.
it, if there's a night for the spin at the death or to Russell, it's probably tonight, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right,
I guess
let's
so.
let's just have a look against Tahir because this is a specific contest that has yielded results for the bowler, which is a rare thing in under Russell cricket. So let's just have a look. 6 innings, 13 runs, 19 balls, 3 dismissals, strike rate of 68. This is an alternate
There you go.
reality from what you're seeing.
Absolutely, and bowling first, mind you. Bowling first, Imran Tahir, the due would set in around 6:37. But you know what I really like about Imran Tahir, the last time I saw him as well, he knows how to bowl with a wet ball. You know, anyways, he's not a big turner of the cricket ball. Anyways, he bowls a lot of these faster flippers.
Sure.
So I think that's something that it's worth looking into. To
I mean,
be
let's toss in Imran Tahir's flashcard here as well, because you'll see the phases where he bowls, you'll see the sort of numbers that he has, and that's what we've got for you. The economy in the power play, well, sometimes it's tried, but mostly at the mid, and you take 8.5 at the death as well from a leg
Anytime.
spinner.
Yep.
That average versus right and left handers pretty good too. He's got 39% top order wickets and a decently high number of dot ball percentage too. Imran Tahir seems he's got his wits about him at this franchise especially. Deep.
Absolutely, and Chepauk is not a small ground. It's a pretty decently large ground, Chepauk. So, yeah, I mean, I really won't be surprised seeing Imran Tahir at least MSD keeping an over for Imran Tahir to bowl in the death.
And again, if you look at characters, and Imran Tahir doesn't seem the kind who'd be unfazed by Andre
I
Russell. There'd be a
think
lot
he'll-
of leg spinners that'd be worried.
He'll want this. He'll want this contest, and they're the sort of players that Dhoni wants in his side. Throw the ball to me. I'm going to take this on. That's all you can do, isn't it? You can back yourself in. You can take the challenge on. If it comes off, it comes off. I mean, it's a hard game.
You know what Sean is mentioning. This is what I think one of the things that Dhoni picks in players is the temperament.
Yeah.
If you look at the players that he picks, it's obviously talent,
Sure.
but also
Absolutely.
temperament. Look at Kedar Jadhav. Look at even the younger guys, Dhruv Shaurya and all these
sure.
guys. They all are very, very temperamentally strong.
Watson, Dwayne Bravo,
Yeah.
guys that have sort of finished games. And the
Suresh
second part of
Raina,
what Teddy said was it's one thing to execute, second is nerve. So
Yeah.
he's backing
See,
up
that's the
Tahir to
thing.
hold his nerve.
That's the thing. In the death, right, finishing off games or defending games, I mean, yes, you might have all the talent in the world, but it boils down to temperament and nerves.
Sure.
So that's what it boils down to, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's half the battle. You can talk about areas to bowl and all the analytics of it, but the game is taking the game on. It's wanting the ball. It's stepping up at the right times, and Everyone tonight is expecting Russell to hit at
Yeah.
the death.
Yes.
If you're the player that doesn't let him do that,
Yeah.
you're going to carry off that ground. So have a crack
Imran
at it.
Tahir can run all the way back to South Africa today if he gets on Russell out. And he'll make it back in time too.
I hope he's a good swimmer.
Oh Lord! You know, let's on a serious note also focus on how good Imran Tahir's been middle overs. Let's focus on those numbers. 7.5 best average in over 7 to 15 since the last IPL. So, boy, Imran Tahir is worth his weight in gold, and he's certainly
And yellow.
giving MS. Yeah, he's certainly giving MS Dhoni all the returns that you would want after investing in Tahir, who's not looking like he's going to be off anytime soon.
Reckon
for
it's
the
like,
circuit.
remember Forrest Gump? When he gets a
Forrest
touchdown and just
Gump,
keeps running out the stadium. Do you reckon that's what it's going to be
Run,
like?
Forrest, run.
He gets Russell out, he's just going to continue to run out the stadium.
Oh, goodness me. Gee, it should be an absolute cracker. Umpires making their way out to the crease. So let's get to our Fab 4 contest. We've given you all the information, Sean Tate and Deep Das Gupta. We've spoken of Russell. We've spoken of Dhoni and Narayan. We've spoken of Imran Tahir. So this should make it very easy to pick your Fab 4 now. Who wants to go first? I think
I
Teddy
went first last
okay,
time.
you went first. So Deep,
I'm
you
not
can
ready
go
for this.
first.
So
Okay, can we see the playing 11?
Let's see
if
the
that's
11s,
good?
please. There we
So,
have them.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Fab. Okay, you want to pick Dhoni?
no, you go.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Fab Dhoni,
Okay.
right? And I'm gonna pick Bhadji as well.
Harbhajan, 3 Chennai boys. Wow.
And then I'm gonna go with, okay, I'm not gonna pick Russell then.
Alright.
I'll go with Kolkata defending. So I'll go with Harry Gurney.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a very
nice.
interesting
Nice.
one. Teddy.
Yeah, look, great picks there. All the ones I wanted. I'm going to go. I'm going to go a couple of different ones. I'm going to go Nitish Rana.
Okay.
You got Andre Russell though.
I'm going to take Russell because
All right,
it's
Russell
a
and
bit of a
Nitish Rana.
backup.
Russell's going to get probably
Nitish
1 of
Rana,
4 today.
Russell.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Shane Watson
Yeah,
at the top. Oh man, and I'll go Tahir.
you'll go
Did you
Tahir.
go Tahir?
No, he didn't.
No.
I'll take Tahir.
That's a good pick, guys. That's a very good split. We'll see how things go. Many
So he's
thanks
got
to
Russell and Tahir. So
Many,
You might
Yeah,
go
it's
cancel
gonna
each other
go
out.
easily. Yeah. Many thanks, guys. Let's have a quick look at the result of the poll that we asked you. 67% say
of course.
yes. Dhoni will hit the boundary, and we will. I hope you already put in your thoughts on who you think is going to win, but it's such a close one. Let's reassess that conversation at halftime. 10 over update as well with one of the boys along with Alexis Nunes, and we'll see where things stand after 20 overs. Chris Lynn, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell to come. Kolkata batting first. Chennai at the Chepo. It's all set for an absolute crackerjacker, and we'll talk about it more on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday T20.